And of course, if anything breaks, Lindsay will have it for us as soon as it does happen. I want to get more now on the prospects for the bailout plan and some alternatives that have been offered up. Joining us now live from Washington is Congressman Douglas Lamborn, Republican from Colorado. Congressman, good of you to join us. You voted against the bill last night in the House. Is that correct?
That's right, Mike. This is just throwing money at the dealers, or excuse me, at the makers, without really having a restructuring in place. A lot of us feel that there has to be a substantial and true reform and restructuring so that the companies can reemerge afterward and be stronger than ever, is what we hope. But there has to be some kind of real restructuring and reform.
Talk to me about, to the extent that you can, what's going on behind closed doors. Has anybody offered anything or offered anything up quietly that you could have lived with?
A lot of us would like to see, for instance, there are Republicans who are talking about a prepackaged reorganization deal, something like that where there's a federal judge who actually has the powers to mandate that there are substantial reforms. Something along those lines would get a lot of support.
When you hear what we're hearing right now, that there's a possibility that there may be some sort of coming to consensus within the Senate, at least enough Republican votes to get this thing through there. Do you think that the other body might have something that you could live with as well?
It's probably easier to get 60% over in the Senate than it is to get 50% in the House. And it did pass the House yesterday, as you know. There are still a lot of us who are concerned about throwing money at the problem without real reform. You know, I'm hearing from my constituents. I have here 1,300 emails from my constituents, and they're 89% opposed to a bailout. There's bailout fatigue out there, Mike.
Well, I mean, what about those who say, if we were to let these companies go without, and they were to go down, that there would be ostensibly millions of jobs to be lost? Do you agree with that, or do you think that's a bit of a hyperbole?
I don't think that that would happen. And now, even one job, no one wants to see even a single job go away. And my heart goes out, for instance, to the dealers who I've talked to in my district. We don't have the manufacturing plants, but we have dealers and other people dependent. We don't want to see a single job go away. But there are Americans buying cars. Americans need cars. I think what would happen is that they would resort to Chapter 11. They wouldn't disappear overnight. And through Chapter 11, we have the best prospect of a long-term solution.
Now talk to me about one of the alternatives that I understand you're offering up, which would amount to basically a $10,000 credit for Americans. Explain that to me.
Mike, there are things that we could do like that. For instance, as my bill says, we could have a $10,000 tax deduction for individuals. We could have business allowing Section 179 expensing, where they get a tax incentive to buy American-made cars. Not cars made overseas, but cars made in the U.S., no matter whose name is on it. So it preserves American jobs. But there's tax incentives we could use like that to stimulate demand. Any of these proposals that are better than just giving money to the companies, because they would burn through the money, they'd be back in 4 to 6 months, and we'd be worse off than before. And Mike, we'd be worse off because we would be further in debt, and we would have lost valuable time getting to a real solution.
There are those who say that this is very similar to what was going on the Hill and the emotions that were being evoked during the whole $700 billion bailout plan debate. Is this in any way similar to that in your mind?
Absolutely. The people in my district, Mike, feel the same way. That's why I said there's bailout fatigue. And that seems to have been mishandled. And that has been changing on a weekly basis as to the form that that's going to take. And we don't know the extent of the money that that's going to require. You know, what company out there, what industry out there is not suffering right now? And where do we draw the line? We just can't have America doing industrial policy.
All right, Congressman, we have to leave it there. Thanks to you. We appreciate it, Congressman Douglas Lamborn from the state of Colorado. Back in a couple of moments, General Motors being told to pay up. We'll tell you who wants cash in advance. And the payoff from a sit-in. That and more as Evening Edition comes back for you in 2.